So I want to talk about being nervous and having anxiety and fears during your interview. So if you don't know me, I am an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out that I want to pay the favor forward and help you out. So first of all, I want to say that you actually got this. This is going to be amazing. If you're actually watching this video, you're probably watching it because you do have an interview or you're thinking about getting one at one point. And you're trying to get into, maybe it's a research position, or you're trying to just actually get into academia. So, I want you to think about how to actually deal with these interviews and really sort of think about the anxiety, fear, and nervousness that you actually have. Totally normal. Everybody has that. I have that all the time. And in fact, if you remember, if you watch some of my videos, I do have, a history of that. I'm naturally shy. I naturally don't like, speaking in front of people. I have to work at it. But, there's lots of sort of ways you can actually deal with this. And hopefully this is going to make you feel relaxed when you watch this. And you can actually deal with some of this stuff a little bit more, right? So I do have lots of people watching these YouTube videos every day, and I've had to sort of cope with dealing with that. And so I've had to make sense of it, right? So if you are experiencing this at this moment, know the most important thing is just realizing that it's emotion and it's just a bodily response. It's your response to excitement or a challenge or something like that. It has nothing to do with, morality or how smart you are or anything like that. It is really just a biological response. And the more that you can sort of think about that it's just a response, the more that you can sort of cope with it, right? And you actually deal with some of these things. It's just a really just, that fluttery, goofy feeling that you get, or the feeling that you want to run away, the sort of fight or flight response. It's just excitement, and that's it. There's nothing that is, tricky or anything like that behind it. And the more that you could sort of think about it as just that response, you can just keep moving forward, right? So I feel nervous right now, and I feel really weird, but at the same time, I know it's just my response to, taking something seriously, and I am just engaging with it anyways, right? So my own anxiety and, nervousness that I actually have is really a strong function of anticipation, right? So the more that I imagine that this is a big thing and it's really scary and all that kind of stuff, the more that I'm going to get nervous and I'm going to get anxious about that. But what I want you to do and think about is that this is just a really small stepping stone in your life that probably doesn't matter in the long run. It might matter, it might not, but you don't know whether it's actually going to matter or not. And there's this thing actually in the world that we talk about sometimes is equifinality, and that is where you can choose multiple paths, and each one of those paths are going to take you to the same destination. And I truly believe that with all of us. If you are a successful human being, if you are, high skilled human being, it really doesn't matter what you do. You're still going to actually perform really well. And so the more that you can sort of just say that, it's just life and it's not a big thing, it's just a stepping stone, the more that you're going to feel okay with this, and the more that it's going to, decrease that nervousness and anxiety that you're going to feel, right? So it's just really thinking about living more in the present and just recognizing that it is really not that important that you're actually engaging in this process. The more that you do that, the better off you actually feel, and the more of a meaningful conversation you're going to have, and it's going to feel like totally normal, right? You're going to feel like your real self. The other thing is that especially this is really important in the academic game and the research game. If it does not work out, know that you've just built a relationship with a couple of people and you might be able to work with them in the future. This is really normal in academia, and where you end up, you might go on an interview and you meet 12 people. Well, inevitably, 2 of those people you're going to really like, and 10 of those people are so those 2 people that you've just met and you built a relationship with, well, you can kind of engage with them, and you continuously engage with them, and you want to actually really work with them in the future. And that's how these relationships actually work and they develop. And it's a really important component of academia. We do these interviews, professors do these interviews all the time. And they are kind of where you go do different talks at different schools. and we just kind of engage with other people. And sometimes you meet people that you actually like and you engage with and you build a relationship with, and it becomes a really important thing for for doing research. So don't feel bad about it. It's just what it is, and the more that you realize this, the more that it actually becomes a lot more fun, and the more that you can build relationships. So instead of thinking of it as this really big important thing, think of it as just building relationships with other people, and that you are kind of dating, and that you're hopefully going to pick somebody that is that you're going to have fun to just have an enjoyable experience around this. So a fourth thing that I think is important is really knowing that the interview process, often it is kind of after the fact that stuff happens. So the more that you realize this, that you can engage and build things and be a central person before that the interview happens. The interview is often sort of just a procedural thing that people have to do. So if you become a central person and everybody wants you to be at their institution, then it doesn't matter what the interview actually happens. It's kind of a minor screening process at the end to find out if they just really like being around you. And so you have to think about, how can I be a change maker? How can I be a central person to everybody else around me, so I can actually engage and be a better person, and then they won't have to worry about me on this, or I'm not going to have to worry about this interview process. Happens all the time. It is a very real thing in the world around us, even outside of academia. This is how things actually get done. It is kind of an after effect thing that you have to do this sort of procedural stuff that they actually want to bring you on board. And often it is kind of like what do they call it? A horse and pony show or whatnot, where they just kind of show you around and you get to meet different people. So the last thing is, and this is hopefully going to make you feel a lot better, is that interviews actually have very little predictive power in terms of what you're going to do in life. From what I understand, they're actually really poor predictors of what's actually going to happen in the future with what you're doing. So the more that you just kind of say that, yeah, this is just a process, this is just something that we have to do, and realize it does not predict your ability in terms of where you're going to go and what your outcomes are. It really is, it becomes a lot more enjoyable, a lot more fun thing. And then if it doesn't work out, guess what happens, and you become successful, or, you do go on and do wonderful things. Well, you could use that as sort of fire to show the other people that, I actually was really great, and you missed that opportunity, and you should have done that opportunity. And use that as a fire to really push you going forward and to do things where you're like, they missed out on that opportunity, they shouldn't have, and you could have really had this great asset at your institution, but you chose not to. So if you use these tricks to deal with the interview process, and know that it's just an emotional thing, and it's really not a big thing if you're feeling nervous or anxious or fear or anything like that, just know that you're being a real human being. That's what we do. That's what human beings do, is we feel anxiety, we feel fear, and we feel nervousness. If we weren't, we would be autonomous robots that would be really boring and nobody would want to be around us. So just know that is, it's a real thing, and just have fun with it. That's all I'm trying to say, is really don't take it as seriously as you want to. Practice. Really get engaged with it, but at the same time, just have fun. Just be who you are, and know that you're going to be anxious. Know that you're going to have fear. Know that you're going to be nervous, and weird things are going to happen. But it's all part of the process, and you're going to be successful in the end, anyways. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube video. Got all these other videos about interviews and stuff like that on the channel. You can check those out, as well as dealing with academia and motivation and stuff. So make sure you engage in the channel. I do appreciate it. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.